Howdy, howdy, how's everybody doing? Trying to show somebody how to find me on TikTok, I guess. They're in my study group, but they don't know where I'm at on TikTok. How's everybody doing? Oh my gosh, which book do I have? Okay, I'm in the 2021 book. I had to mark my page. I'm about that way through, and it won't take me long, but I've got a few more to do. I'm taking all of the new codes that are in the 2022 book. Let's see. Like those, putting them down on a Word document, and then telling you what page to put those on in your 2021 book. So it's a little complicated on my end because I got to look at it and see what page number it's on here, but it doesn't matter. I need to make sure you put them between the right headers, so then you'll have it. So that one's a new one. If you have the 2021 book, I'll tell you to write it somewhere between the pulmonary on a different page, because it's a different page number in the 2021 book. So anyway, working on that. Don't want to lose my spots, so I got some sticky notes saving my spots where I'm at. But I want to make sure that everybody has something that they can do and use for fixing their 2021 book so that it is usable for your 2022 exam. There isn't a heck of a whole lot of stuff. There's 4 codes to add in E&M that are new, and it comes with a new section, which is kind of neat. They have something called something different. I think we're going to put those on it's called Principal Care Management Services, and it's going to go right after your Complex Chronic Care Management Services in your 2021 book. And then this Principal Care Management Services has 4 codes. Yes, 4 CPT codes that will add to your 2021 book in your E&M section. Other than that, they only deleted one sentence out of one of the codes in E&M, which is your nursing visit one, the 99211, I think. Yep, they deleted that last line. The presenting problems are minimal. So they deleted the last sentence, but the rest is pretty much the same. There might be one more add-on and one more deletion. I think there's one more add-on. One of these critical cares or something has a new child code, which is kind of cool. But other than that, everything else is the same. But I'm working on that document. I should have it out, if not tomorrow morning sometime. So I'm just having to figure out where I want y'all to put it in the 2021 book. How's everybody's new year going? I got notification today that, where is it? 2 more people off of TikTok passed. Trill, she passed her exam. That was 3 days ago. Super cool. And Eddie passed 4 days ago. So those people are following me on TikTok, and they let me know that they passed this week too. So that was super helpful. I'm waiting to find out if our 1231 girl passed. I did tutoring with her the day before on the 30th, but it was like the nighttime, like right before. And then, like right after she got off work, like 7 o'clock at night. And then she stayed up and took her exam at 1 in the morning before she went to work at 8 in the morning. Oh my gosh, took both parts. So, and it was our first time tutoring. So we did tutoring. Then she stayed up for her exam, took both parts, and then went to work on the 31st. Woo. So waiting on that one to see how she did. What else is going on? Everybody's healthy here. Everybody's doing fine. So boys started back school today. I hope that works and stays well. James wore his warrior hat today. It was 34 degrees this morning, 36 degrees in Arizona today. It was crazy. Travis wore his red one. He was super happy about that, but he's out of school compliance. He wasn't supposed to wear that hoodie. They have assigned outfits that they're supposed to wear, and he's decided to wear his Christmas hoodie and take the consequences that happened for that. I told him it was fine as long as he's not hiding from me and telling me what he's doing, and he's ready to face the consequences. And one teacher demanded he take it off. So, and he did take his school uniform hoodie with him, but he was, so excited. They don't get to see their school friends. And then he wanted to wear his new outfit. So I can understand his wanting, but he didn't want to wait till Friday where they have casual day Friday. And it's not really casual day. They have approved outfits that they can wear on Friday, but that would have been probably more appropriate, but he couldn't stand it. He had to do it on Monday morning. So I'm okay as long as they communicate with me and let me know what's going on and they're ready to face their own consequences. They got new schedules today too. They were in 5 of the 6 classes together at the same time, so they switched them up because they're in the same grade. So that's cool. Now they're not in any same classes together, which you really should separate siblings. Oof. Maybe when they're younger, but when they're in junior high, they don't need to be in the same room together because they just get to either fighting or they're giggling too much. One of the two. I don't know much about this CPC exam and all the changes. I do have some videos from them saying that our CPC exam is going to be the same as before. Even our 10 cases at the end are going to be multiple choice. The only certification that will have fill in the blank will be a CIC, but it's always had a fill in the blank part. So far, it's just going to be cut down by 50 questions. It's going to have the same percentages of questions per section. We're just going from where we had 10 cardiovascular questions down to 6. And they can still probably cover everything there is in cardiology. It's just, it's just going to be where they're going to be able to do a defibrillator. They're going to be able to do a cabbage, right? They're definitely going to be doing some shunts. What else could they be doing? Some stents in the heart or removing the stents in the heart. What else is one of their favorite places to go in the heart? Repairing of any blood vessels by even working through angioplasty or an ectomy where they remove things. What else? And that's 5 things right there. And we're pretty much just a catheter through the cardiovascular system. So I don't think we're going to miss a lot. It's just you won't have multiple questions about the same sort of thing. It's going to be one and done per probably sections of these codes. In these sections instead of having some of the same multiple kinds of questions. I don't think it's going to be too scary, and I'm tickled to death that it's going to be just 4 hours, which is way more reasonable. You couldn't even ask an employee to sit there for 5 hours and 40 minutes without a break, because a lot of people don't take a break and they still lose and don't have enough time and end up filling in all the blanks in the last 40 questions anyway. So I think it's way more reasonable, especially with the RN only being 75 questions. Just comparing it to what doctors do for their certifications and what RNs do, ours was really out of whack and unreasonable anyway. So I'm happy that they changed and listened to the industry for sure. Anybody got any questions? I see all of our congratulations on our other ones. We have plenty in chat in our messenger group that passed 2 over the holidays. We've got a couple that did not pass and are going to try again, I hope. And it's just a matter of the anxiety. So much is riding on this exam, and you studied and practiced so much, and comprehending or reading too much is a killer. Even when you're deciding between 2 CPT codes, let's say we have, let me look for one real quick that I like. What are you doing, Travis? If your answer was between these 2 codes, the 32 and the 33, don't read the CPT code descriptor in your parent code because it's too wordy. Read the one on your child, and if it's only between, you've gotten it down between A and B, and A is this answer, B is this answer, go on and read what's in the parent or the child code, because the child code is usually just with something, with ultrasound guidance, without ultrasound guidance, something smaller, something a lot smaller to read than all of this. And then all you have to do is see if they did that. If you don't see this mentioned where they removed a blood clot, be sure you know your AKAs. Then if they didn't remove a blood clot, then you know the only answer is the 32, and you didn't have to read that long descriptor in this. When I tutor with people, that's one of the trends I'm seeing. We'll pick an answer where the answer starts out with just this code or this code, and then they'll start reading the whole thing. And I'm like, no, too much, because they're trying to remember the entire sentence and then remember this entire thing, and then go look through the question to see what the answer might be. And the smaller you can figure out what one word you're looking for, that's easier than looking through this whole thing. Like this one, my notes for 2022 are going to be so much better because this is a blood clot removal is what I should have in here. Clot removal. And this is one without that. We do have our auto. One of them, this one does have auto on it too, but anytime I see anything with auto, I worry that we might have an allo somewhere else or near it, because these autos are often followed up or preceded by an allograft, but just that will help you out a whole bunch for the process of elimination. Hey, Shell, how are you doing? Hey, Teresa, I'm glad you made it. Hey, Kim, I'm doing great. Great. So glad, Teresa, you found me. And Bells, glad to see you here too. I've got nothing but process of elimination today. Let's do a bunch of questions, because until we figure out what's going to be on the new exam and they release anything with their website update, we don't know a whole lot. I just want to tell you what I'm doing. And who is that? That is, Rodriguez. Yeah, I hope she passed too. I can't imagine. I hope she passed too. I know. And she got snow, like tons of snow the other day. So you passed. I passed my exam on the 30th. Thank you, Jen, for everything you post. I gave a coworker your info. That's wonderful. That's J.R. Bracken. J.R. Bracken 27. She passed too. We can put her on our tally. Awesome. Congratulations. Aw, that's so good. That's wonderful. Whoops. Let's send her some hearts. Yes, 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 yes. You're going to take it again on the 29th. Marissa. Perfect. You watched the webinar on AAPC today with all the updates. Spent most of the day updating my book. Good. Perfect. Wonderful. I'll rewatch that AAPC webinar. They drive me nuts sometimes the way they waste so much time in those webinars. But I'm good about doing that too. And so to find those webinars on AAPC's website, it won't be hard to find. All you got to do is go to their Facebook page, which will probably be one of my first things that pops up since I'm always on there. Oh, that's our COC study group. Here we go, AAPC. Whoops. AAPC site. And then they'll have an event that they did, probably, or is that upcoming events? It'll be one of these top ones that they list right here that'll say that they did a video. It won't be hard to find. Ooh, who passed? Sometimes I like to see if the names, if I recognize the names, because some people never do come back into the chat room to tell us we passed, but I'll see their names there to see if they passed. Yeah, a lot of people are getting their exams are still not graded from the 31st and stuff, but we'll have to see. But usually their webinars are pretty close up here into where they posted them, or it'll be on their YouTube page for sure. But usually they repost them here on Facebook pretty close. Let's see. Do they have one that says albums? Those are old. Files, no. Photos. Med code. I like that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll try to find that video. I've got some of their old ones taped too from earlier in the week. Do I have an example of the real exam? Yes. Yep, I do have real life scenarios from AAPC. Yep. Absolutely, sure do. They just have that and that featured. You can search right here. Did they call it? They called it a coffee break or something. What do they usually call their meetings? I always forget what they call them. Social hour. I think they call it a social hour, right? Something like that. You can even search their site. That was on the 26th or 22nd. I did that one on the 22nd. I don't know. Sometimes they have them and I don't know when they are, but maybe they did one most recent. Or maybe they're replaying that one over again, but I don't think they were supposed to have one so soon again after the 22nd, but anyway, I'll figure it out. Destiny found me. Good, 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 good. Got a lot of things going on this week. I do have to go to Phoenix on Friday the 21st for, and that's 5-hour drive one way and then 5-hour drive back. Sucks. But I got to go to Phoenix on the 21st for Travis, and then, so I won't be able to do a live on Friday then, but that's still a couple of Fridays away from now. And then James has a doctor's eye appointment on Thursday, but that won't affect anything but maybe tutoring. Other than that, everything else is going good. Let's see these practice questions that I have today. Let's just do a bunch of practice questions. Bunch. All right. Got to deal with my camera, my little cell phone here that does not like to look at books and then look at computer screens. There we go. So what I see here, let me get my little drawy tool out, is a bunch of E and M's. I got 2 4s, right? So what I'm doing here is trying to do the process of elimination, and I like to look at the answers only first to see if I see any similarities, just numerically, just to see if there's anything that is the same. And since we do have the 2 that are the same, I can get rid of the C and get rid of the A because AAPC has a pattern, and I hope this pattern continues for 2022 where they give you 2 throwaways and then 2 that are almost exactly the same. So this will end up being just a diagnosis thing here, but we can check out our 99284 real quick if we wanted to. Just I can teach y'all a few little things too, but I believe it's going to be one of those, the 99284. And if y'all have the 2022 book, sorry, I'm still in the 2021. But we're in the emergency room and we're under moderate complexity for the MDM. So if I wanted to verify and make sure I'm in the right spot, that's exactly where I would go do, is I would go to my question and just skim from the last word backwards and look for my MDM, which is right there, and it does say moderate. So I can be confident that I'm in the right spot. Now all I have to do is decide about my diagnoses. What I do know about the N's is kidneys, right? Or M's, muscular sometimes. So let's see what's going on with this one. We do have a lot of stuff written up here, but usually if they're doing a test, we're going to diagnose an actual real diagnosis off of the test. So I still would not look up here at all. I know there's a bunch of crap up there, but I would see what's going on here. And the CT does show that we have small kidney stones, which can produce all this back pain, nausea, chills. And because this is all side effects, or what's that other word they use all the time? Symptoms of a greater disease process, which are his stones. We don't code symptoms if we have a good diagnosis. So we have one good diagnosis, so I'm going to feel very confident in saying that D is my answer and move on to my next test question because I know I'm not going to do all those symptoms. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope. Sorry about the screen freezing. I hope it gets better. I'm trying to move my stuff up some so I can get a better view of what I'm showing you. Okay. We do have D as our answer. So here's our next one. Our next one is just giving us a new patient established, a consult, and an observation. What the heck's going on here? So it's giving us a range, wanting us to know what's going on here. So we'll look at our question down here. I'm going to go to very last sentence that says which E&M category is reported for this encounter. Okay. Anxiety. We got a detailed history. Looks like we've got a man wants a second opinion for his sleep apnea. Well, just because he wants it means he can have it, but what does that doctor get to bill for that visit if it is a second opinion that a patient wants? Hello, Mr. Black. Hello, Amy. Everybody's saying A. Very good. We cannot do any consultations at all if the patient referred themselves. Even if it says, and pay close attention, I've seen sentences written in a CPC or AAPC question that says, Dr. S referred patient to the cardiologist for a second opinion due to their atrial flib because of the insurance company's requirements. That last two words, insurance company's requirements, gets rid of your office consultation and makes it only a new patient also. So if the insurance company demands a second opinion, they get a new patient. Also, just good information that I know I've said a million times there. All right, we've got some more. We've got the 15s and the 14s. Then we have the 56s and the 17s. Oh my. What is our 992, 15, and 14? Where are those suckers at? 2, 14 and 15. So our differences between those, MDM and time, we've got, this one is high and 40 minutes. Our 14 is 30 minutes and moderate. So we can check our question real quick for those things just to see which one we're going to eliminate to. I don't see any time coming up. So we're going to have to look backwards. Oops, there we go. We do have time. We got 60 minutes right there. Total time is 60. So we know we're going to be in our 40 range. So we know we're going to keep right, unless we have total time spent with the patient. Answering the question, what time was the patient spent? Yep, we got moderate up here too. We don't have high. We do have 60 minutes. So what code can we use if our MDM is moderate, but we've went over our 30-minute to 39-minute time frame for that particular patient? Yeah, very good, guys. We're going to keep our 14, even though our time is over it. Our MDM is still moderate. That trumps it. What you add is our one and only CPT code, which is the 17, that is for a regular office visit that lingers too long, and we ended up seeing the patient for an abnormally long time. For a doctor to spend a whole entire hour with the patient is crazy. I know Travis went to the doctor 3 weeks ago, I guess, and we were the first ones back from their lunchtime, and by the time we got out of there, the waiting room was completely full, and I know we spent a good 30 minutes in there with that doctor, talking to her for a while, and the glares we got, I can imagine the glares this one got too. So Yeah, we need to use our prolonged, and we keep our thing going on. So C is definitely our answer. Very good. Anesthesia. So we've got 240s and 241s. Now they also have an extra 40 over here, oops, and then an extra 41 over here, but then they have a 40 and a 41 in this one. Would you do, even if it was primary anesthesia, like a parent code and then a child code, would you do something that looks like this? Kind of interesting just to be looking at the codes to see what you're doing. Thinking about those kind of things for process of elimination while you're looking at them. We've got 0054. Oops, that page is ripped out of my book. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. My poor pages from last year have been through some tutoring, for sure. So we've got 40 and 41. Would you ever build those two codes together? Does it have a plus symbol in front of it? No, it doesn't. So that C just is screaming at me that it is just not going to be one that we could even use. But our differences between the 40 and the 41, remember, don't look at your parent code, just look at this one. It's got ventilation of one lung. And one thing you should know is if you're under anesthesia with a patient, do you think it's harder to vent normally or to only vent one lung? Well, the one lung situation is tougher. So that is a more specialized and just a pain in the butt thing to do and regulate. So just keep that in mind. It's a more difficult procedure, by the way. So I would just check the question for the ventilation to see if we needed it or not. Are we doing one lung vent? And I would still be looking from the bottom up, looking for anything that might say anything about one lung anything, and I don't. So I would get rid of D also. Between these two, it's going to be a modifier that's going to be our option. What's the difference between QK and AA? Or you could do QZ and the difference between QX. And if you don't have your modifiers moved from your HitPix book for anesthesia to your CPT book, that will serve you as a big disservice. You really need those modifiers moved. I suggest on this green page, right before you start coding, just putting those modifiers right there, all of them from anesthesia, right underneath your P1s and P2s. Just get them all written in there. That way you can refer to them super quick without having to open up a HitPix book and find those modifiers, because they're not in CPT book. So we know we have a CRNA situation, and we've got a medically directed CRNA. And do we have MAC? Medically directed cases, and I was just wondering if we had monitored anesthesia. So our AA is personally by the anesthesiologist is supervising. Our QK is the doctor is doing 2 to 3 to 4 concurrent cases. So we do have 2 other cases written right here. So our QK is definitely going to be our only answer that we can pick, because that modifier goes here. Now, if the doctor was only watching that particular case only with the CRNA, then it could be A, but since that physician is medically directing multiple cases, then our answer is definitely B. I hope that makes sense. I hope so too, Lily and Irene. Truly do. I hope everybody passes this year, and I'm going to do my best to make sure. If I will see that everybody passes. Absolutely. I'll do everything I can to make sure that everybody passes. Here's another anesthesia one. So we got the 40s and the 30s I really like just because they're closer than the 10 and the 29. They all end in the same code, so we don't really care there. Let's go see what our 30 and 40 is. 0, 1. Thank you for the rose. 0, 1, 8. 3, 0. 0, 1, 8. 3, 0. And 4, 0. So we have an open fracture, possibly, or we have arteries in the arms. So fracture or artery procedure. Let's see what we got going on. Ooh, tricked us on this one. What does carpal tunnel deal with? Is it arteries? Is it a fracture? Nope. Carpal tunnel only deals with nerves. Which one of our anesthesia codes is only for nerves? That top one right there, 10. So, C has to be our only answer because that's the only one that deals with the nerves. Does that make sense? Which ones are we on? 018, 018, 018. Just seeing what it looks like. In my other CPT book to make sure I did note that the nerves were the only reason for the 10, and I did. So that's good. No arteries, no fractures. No arteries, no fractures, but it is the 10 for the nerves. Got another anesthesia one, 0, 0, 320, 0, 0. 320 and 22, so only look at your child code with needle biopsy, like with needle, right? Or with a biopsy. So let's just check out our question. Did we do a biopsy? We did do a biopsy. So we know we are going to keep the 22. Super fast that way. It's easier than reading the parent code for sure. I really like that method. So then all we got to do is figure up our time. Now, what time does everybody think this is? Are we doing 45 minutes or are we doing 1 hour? I'll let y'all decide on that one. Teresa, I'll show you that modifier one in just a second. So in this question, what is our time? For these questions, whether you're doing them online or in person, If you're doing it online, you can use a dry erase board marker. I'm sorry about it won't focus on the color, but this is a dry erase board marker. And if you're doing it online, you can actually write on your screen and get rid of anything that says surgery time. Always black that out. Do not ever pay attention to it. The only thing you leave is just the anesthesia's notations about their time. Their time started at 9, and then they sent the patient to the recovery room at 10. So from 9 a.m. to 10 is only 1 hour. Never, ever, 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 ever pay attention to surgery time. Ever. Always get rid of that. Then you'll only have the right answer available for you. So if I got rid of that sentence and got it out of my way, like it wasn't even there, then it leaves me the correct time. Okay, hip picks. Let me go back to that one real quick. Let me get my book. Where's my book? Depending on which version of your hip picks book you have, I have the AAPC version. On the back cover of the book is a list of modifiers for anesthesia. Now, if you have a different version, maybe the AMA version or something like that, it will have a list of the anesthesia modifiers in the book. It'll be in these pages somewhere, and just look in your index to see what page number it's on. I think 70 something, or I don't know. But the AAP version takes all the modifiers, puts them on the back cover of the book, and lists them out. You don't need these P's. They're already there. What you do need is these two columns, the abbreviations or the modifier codes, and then a quick description of what each one does. And you need to write it on this beginning page of the anesthesia section right underneath these P's. That way you have it all together, all in one little location. Be super helpful for you for the exam. That way you don't have to rewrite it. My 2022 version of this is a lot neater than my 2021 version. We learned a lot this year. Sorry. Oops, lost the camera. Crane. Throw that over there, so y'all are going to have to deal with my shaky hands. But that is what I'm talking about, is those modifiers. There's a lot of modifiers. I mean, there are modifiers for modifiers. So just because they're not the front ones that are on the front cover of your CPT book doesn't mean there isn't a lot more modifiers. There's a lot of modifiers, but you normally don't need to know every single one of them. And all of them are in that HipPix book, whichever version you've got. I know our 2022 versions just got mailed out on the 31st. They'll be here soon. The other thing is that this dry erase board marker works on your screen. If you are taking it in online, you can use this and write all over your computer screen and then just wipe it off. Super handy dandy, but I did that. I wrote them here so that it was there. Super handy dandy to have during your exam. All right. Let me get this going. Okay, TikTok is distracting me again because they're saying, oh, Coupon Cutie just shared our live video, and now TikTok is telling me to encourage others to do the same. I don't know why. It distracts me when they talk to me. It's like TikTok. Leave me alone. But that's cool. That is so neat. Thank you for the share. That way, other people that are trying to do medical coding And pass their certification can find me too. All right. We've got this one. We've got our 18, 19, 20, and 15. They're all really close together. It'd be really hard to distinguish anything between them. Let's go see where the first one is. So we've got 7, 6, 8, 15. And I'm still in the 2021 book because I don't have the entire book 2021 updated yet. But 7, 6, 8, 15. 7, 6, 8. My kids are being way too quiet. It's like I'm getting paranoid. What are they doing? 7, 6, 8. 7, 6, 8, 15. Ooh, my page where the pizza got left on it. Ugh, such a terrible page. 15. Then we have 18, 19, and 20. So our differences, Doppler, no stress test, with a stress test, and imaging. Imaging, Doppler, stress, and no stress. Let's see of our question. A non-stress test will be performed, so they did do a stress test. Just looking from the bottom up, I knew that one of my keywords was definitely going to be one of those things. I had a Doppler, no stress test. See how looking at the child code is easier than looking at the parent with stress test? And then this one took me longer to find something that I liked as far as one keyword, and it was imaging documentation. So the non-stress test, but it says at the next visit. So they did not do it today, but they are going to do it next time. So you got to be careful. Make sure you understand the entire sentence didn't throw one little thing in there like that to confuse you. So we've got 19 is what I'm liking. What about y'all? Y'all have any disagreements on that? Do you like anything else? I would pick C, and C is the answer. Just don't let them confuse you. Word matching is a technique to learn, but make sure they don't throw something in at the end of the sentence that says that they do it at the next visit. That's very tricky of them because they know I'm doing one-word searches. And like that other example that I talked about today where it said that the physician ordered a second opinion for a patient due to their atrial fib, that whole sentence sounds perfect for a consultation, but the last two words says due to insurance companies' requirements. So they're getting a little tricky on some of them. It's not always, but just make sure. And that doesn't mean that I read anything up here. All that, none of it I could care less about. So it's just this part where I could move on and go to my next question confidently. Ooh, let's see. We've got 251s. That looks promising. Can we do this code with it? I don't know. Let's go see. 36251. 36251. Do we have any parentheticals that go with this? Nope. We've got a bilateral and a unilateral something or another. Doing something with the arteries. Can tell that. Let's check out our question. So we are doing arteries, right? So the 3 O's, the first order. This is one of those things where you got to know where your first order of catheter placement is. Very cool question. Love these. The 36200, because I'm trying to decide whether we're going to do this or we're doing that, but the 36200 is where? Do we even have that one? Or is it out of sequence? This is our introduction of a catheter into an aorta. Don't you think that the introduction of a catheter is included in the selective catheter placement? That's not something we need to add in for this procedure at all. That's an add-on for some other thing. Plus, it doesn't have a plus symbol with it. So to add it with this one would be very difficult or an unusual circumstance, and we would have to be doing 2 different things. We would not be doing just an aorta catheter, which this is. Artery catheter. This is an artery catheter. You don't combine those 2. It would have to be like something totally different, like a stent placement, for you to have 2 different CPT codes that are not a plus symbol to be added with it. It would have to be a totally different procedure. So you know, based off of your guideline, that D is the only answer. It could be. You're going to have that throwaways right there, the B and C right there. You don't even need to look at them because you have 2 codes that are the same. And the only thing they're trying to do is confuse you about the order and have you add radiology and have you add a catheter placement with a catheterization. And also, if you look right here, we're going to have including imaging is all included in this, including the puncture, the catheter placement, which is all included, including the catheter placement, including your contrast, including your imaging. It's all included. They just want to make sure that you know the differences between all that and that you wouldn't code all that together with that code. Sorry, it's probably... There we go. But most definitely, D is your only answer. And I could either find that out through the CPT code descriptor that told me that was all included, or I know enough about CPT codes and how it works that you just wouldn't add a catheter placement with something that's already a catheter placement. It absolutely just would not happen. You'd have to have some other total separate procedure. I hope that's helpful. I hope today records too. I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't freeze. Thank you, Bells, for the rose. Thank you for the shares. Hey, Shell, how's it going? My last one did record, so I hope so. Ooh, radiology. Speaking of that, we've got 3 27s. So all we need to know is, can we times it or do we add another code to it? What is 77427? 77427. And a lot of these in radiology, you need to be a little conservative on before you start doing a bunch of wacky stuff on, like adding interpretation and stuff. Now, there are reasons to do it, but definitely if you're doing a chest x-ray or just a fractured arm, interpretation's included. It doesn't say that, but it is. Don't let them confuse you. Just think about going to the doctor's office, and when you get a chest x-ray, the report comes back interpreted. All right. 27. We got any parentheticals? We got some parentheticals, but I don't know if they're all related because they're not immediately right underneath that one. This is just radiation treatment for 5 treatments. And then this one, the 31 underneath it, is for 1 to 2. Well, let's go look at the question first. So the question, we're going to go down here at the bottom, and we've got 2 more treatments, and then we have 5 sessions of radiation, and then they decided to do 2 more. So with these radiation codes, do we do times on these, or are the treatments included in the CPT code? What do you guys think? Hey, Sarah. Marissa and Sarah are correct. The radiation treatments are included with the CPT code. What is supposed to happen with radiation is a plan happens, kind of like physical therapy. I'm going to see the patient and we're going to radiate this cancer 2 times a week times 3 weeks. So 2 times 3 is 6 treatments. You would still bill for the 27 all by itself, and you eat the extra 1. If you do your 5 treatments, and that was your plan to do 2 treatments a week, and only complete 5, but then you notice on re-examination of the tumor that it hasn't gone down all that you want, but it has gone down significantly, and you want to douse it 2 more times with more radiation, you don't get to bill for more. You only get your initial plan, so you better plan well. And they only have, for right now, these 2 options. When ICD-10 moves up to ICD-11, I foresee our CPT book changing too, and we might end up with some more of these. But for right now, when you're diagnosed with cancer and you've been told you have to get radiation, they have to decide whether it's only going to be 1 to 2 treatments, even just up to 3 or 4. If they're going to end up doing 5 treatments or more, they bill for this one. And this are only options. And however many treatments are there are included, and you don't get to bill for anything that you decide to radiate more of. So, very interesting guideline, very interesting coding, and AAPC will definitely want to know if you understand that. So, if you're at these 2 codes, the 31 or the 27, as your options, they want to make sure you understand the guideline, which is just that they decided to do their 5 treatments. They finished them, then they decided to do 2 more. They just eat those 2 more costs, and you don't get to bill for anything else. Just how it is with radiation. We don't argue, we just answer it the way they want us to be answering it, for sure. So if you want to put some notes right here, they're not add-ons, they're not times, they're not anything. You need to plan ahead and bill ahead for what you're going to do. That's it. Ooh, our lovely codes, guys. When you see the 88304s, 05s, 07s, 09s, can you do the process of elimination with these codes? No, you can't. These are my 4 little codes that I tell y'all that we cannot do the process of elimination on. They're the only 4 little codes we can't, because we have to make sure we know what they removed from a patient and what they want us to evaluate. These codes are, if you're in the CPT book, 2021. They're starting on 670. And these are your surgical path ones. And they start out with just like a visual look, like whatever they cut off of somebody, they want a doctor just to look at it and tell me with their own eyes what they did. The O2 is looking through a microscope at it. And then 3 will be things that they definitely got to look through a microscope. They might have to even dissect it and look at other layers of it, those kind of things. O5 and O6 will be more difficult things to even get to in the body. O5, we're talking about craniotomies and stuff. And then the O9, or the O7 and the O9, could be resections from whole organs being removed and stuff. So we have to do a word search off of what they removed, and we have to understand the differences in our word searches. So we have like skin listed here under O5, but we also have skin listed here under O4, and we have it listed under O2. You need to know the differences in what that will look like as far as what body part that might be. So one thing I do is I go directly to the question and I find out exactly what is it they want us to look at. So this question is a resection, and I know that's in my higher up ones. I know it's not going to be my O4 or my O5. Those don't do resections. It's going to be a 7 or a 9. So duodenum. So then we do know it's going to be cancer related issue. So these resections start out here in our O7 and O9. O7 has some resections too, but I don't see duodenum here. So I have some small intestines, but if you do go to the O9, I believe there's a duodenum. No, there's small intestine for a tumor. That's all they're going to tell you is the small intestines. So these 2 small intestines right here, this is for a resection, but it says other than a tumor. So we know it can't be the O7. The O9 says it's a resection of the small intestines due to a tumor. Due to a tumor. And of course I wrote duodenum right there because I've done this example before in tutoring. But for a tumor is very different than the small intestines where it says other than a tumor. Skin is the same way. Over here it'll say for O5, it's going to have skin other than assist a tag, debridement, and prosthetic repair. That's under O5 because there's a lot of crap under O5. But if you go over to skin under O4, O4 has skin, but it says it is assist a tag or debridement. You got to figure out what they actually removed and what they want you. This is definitely a tumor, OMA. We definitely did a resection, and we're in the small intestines. So knowing where your small intestines or what is part of your small intestines is super helpful for that question too. But the process of elimination won't help you with these 4 little codes. But I hope that's helpful to figure this out, that B is our answer. Let me check on them quiet kids real quick. Oh my goodness. All right, sorry guys. The one child went to sleep is why. First day back at school and he's tuckered out. So he's asleep. He took the cat and went to bed. And then my Travi's up playing video games with Grandma. So they're having fun. Everything's all right. Eustace just started copying today. Oh my goodness. I hope it helps. What's good about the lab and path is you'll get my notes on which autopsies are good for crime scenes and which ones are good for just regular autopsies. One of the questions too come up about an autopsy on a baby. So the crime scene one. Some of these autopsies with the brain might have been one. The difference would have been a visual and gross or just a visual on this one for the one with the baby in the brain. This one is only just a gross examination, and then this one is visual and gross. If they note anything about it being an accident, it might be this one. If it's a crime scene, it's definitely your 40. The other thing my notes have, it'll tell you which tests are nucleic acid techniques, which ones are single and multi-step test, which ones are enzyme technique test, and then give you the good explanations of the differences between the quantitative, qualitative, therapeutic, and drug essays available on those tests, those definitive tests and presumptive tests, all the explanations for all that stuff. Super helpful. And then, of course, all the examples down at the bottom will help because these were examples from my exam, what they used. Super helpful. Plus the fixing of all the out-of-sequence codes, knowing what page numbers there are when you get to them, because there is a million of the out-of-sequence codes, and knowing what page number they're on is super helpful instead of having to go find it somewhere. And there are some that are just thousands of pages away from where they are located, so it gets crazy sometimes. But I hope they help tremendously. I wish I had been told about those out of sequences before I took my exam, but I followed and paid for all kinds of help, and not really help, but just information. I wanted to know information, and still didn't get told about that little thing. I finally figured it out, though. All right, our next one is also in lab. So looking at this one, we definitely have the 261s. So tentatively, I would get rid of these two, not worry about it. I would look to see if the 50 and the 47 are up here and see that 47 is. So AAPC, I'm noticing, has not only this process of elimination that we can do where we get rid of, two codes. Why is my thingy not drawing anymore? Did I touch my screen or something? I don't know. That we can get rid of A and B, but they also hide one of the answers in one of the throwaways. So I would think that C was my answer and could move on with my next question and not look up anything, just because that 47 is up here and the 50 is not in one of these throwaways. If that makes any sense to anybody, it seems pretty. If I'm thinking about what I'm saying, I think about how confusing this sounds, but I really think that that's a really cool process too, that 47 is in one of my throwaways, and that makes me think it's that one too. But let's go look up our 80061 and see where that's at. I bet that's one of those ones in the front with the, look at all those out-of-sequence codes. Oh, just pages and pages of them. Enough to drive you insane. The 800. Is that one of the ones in the front? 80061. I hate finding these damn things. They're always everywhere. That's our lipid panel. What can we do with a lipid panel? Why is my darn computer is not responding for just a second? Hold on. Come on, computer. Why are you not responding? It won't move or do anything for some reason. It's just not responding. Oh, good Lord. Okay, come on, Lackey. Why are you acting all crazy? I guess it doesn't want us to do any more processes of elimination. But it's not responding to anything. I don't know what I've done. Come on. Let me try closing it. Pat it on the back until it's a good boy, and let's try this again. So, a lot of times AAPC likes to take these panels and see if you can order both of them at the same time, like a lipid with a TSH, or a lipid with a hepatic, or a lipid with a comprehensive, and as long as there's none, not even one, but no multiple tests in the same ones, you can. For basic and the comprehensive, you can't bill those two together because carbon dioxide is in the same one. Right there, your chloride is in the same one, your creatinine is in the same one. You just can't do it. The one difference is the calcium ionized versus the calcium total. So you would just bill this comprehensive and then only bill your calcium ionized. And it's really nice that the CPT people give you the codes next to each individual test. I like to add them up and see how many is in each one just to make sure I got it right for when I'm doing an exam. Let's see if this thing will talk to me now. Put my little finger on there. Alright, it's responding now. I don't know what I did, but let me get back to our question. I think we were on question 30. Here we go. So on 30, it's asking us, can we add a lipid and one of these other ones together? So he ordered a lipid and a quantitative glucose to go with it. So let's go see which one of these is the quant glucose. 82947. Yeah, I'm slow. I'm glad I don't have to do this for this exam anymore, but although I really wish I had let my certification fall so that I could retake it this year so I'd know what it looks like. Alright, we've got 47 and 50. We've got quant, and then the 50 post-glucose dose. Quant, is that what it was asking for? Was a quant? It was. We've got a quant right there. Sorry, guys. So we're definitely going to be doing C for our answer, which was the answer I was leaning to anyway, just because that 47 was in one of my throwaways. If I was rushed on time, ran out of time, and I had questions like this with two answers, and then one of the answers, the only difference was one code that happened to be in one of my throwaways, I would circle C all day long and move on to my next question just to keep moving. Oh, and I keep taking the camera away. I don't know why. Don't need to leave me in charge of this, but C was our answer. If I could get the camera to focus on that. Yeah. All right, here's another lab. What do we like about these? We've got 2 3s, 803, 75, and 06. It's about as close as we're going to get, huh? Or we have a 5, 6, 8, and 9 ending numbers instead of the beginning numbers. The middle number, 1, then we have a 2, and we have a 3, 3. Those are funny. Again, don't know. And even if I looked at my question, I still wouldn't know. I mean, we've got a 75 and a 78, but the differences are so big on the 3s and the 1s. Don't really know where we would be and what we would become. So I'm going to take the 2 3s, the 803, 75, and 06, and see if we can figure out if those are close together, maybe. We've got a question about glucose, or no, a CPC with an OB panel that recently came up on our CPC exam. I need to research that one and see if I can't find that question online. So 803, 06 is going to be on page 590. 6 pages away. Super handy when you have that written down. 80306 is right there. We're under what heading though? You need to make sure you're under the right heading. Presumptive screening. So that's just a positive or a negative, right? So we've got a depressive disorder. Do we need to know if somebody's positive or negative for their meds on that? It would be a no. You really want their therapeutic level. So I know right away when I see a disease that is taking medicine for that disease that that particular presumptive is not going to work for our answer. 100%. Not all the time. So 103.75. Let's see. Our 75 right here. Are we still under presumptive? We're still under definitive. We're not under therapeutic drug level yet either for that 75, are we? Nope. We are just in the wrong places. That process of elimination didn't help me at all with those. So let's go back to our 801.78. 801.78, where would that be? Definitely going to need a therapeutic level. 801. I hope it's not freezing. Log in and out is the only way it fixes when it freezes. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, my Control-Alt-Delete. I don't think the keyboard wasn't even working either. I just kind of shut the laptop and then opened it back up. That's crazy. Lithium, 801.78. Where is that one? I gotta use 2 hands to find it. Sorry, so I'm gonna put down my phone for just a second. Let's find our 801. Here we go. 801.78 is gonna be maybe on 595. 801.73. 78 is lithium, but what's our heading? You got to make sure, because lithium is listed in 2 areas. We are under therapeutic. Therapeutic is definitely the way we want to go with this one. We want a level, not anything else. So A is our answer. It better be, after all that searching I did. I hate the lab and path section. Everything is out of sequence. And then the ones that are in sequence are pushed out of sequence because of all the ones that are put in there with them. So they're a pain in the butt. This section is awful to find anything in, even in when it's all in sequence. But hopefully all this helps. All right. Let's go down to our next one. Hey, we're going over to medicine section. So we've got two 60s and two 13s. Come on. There we go. And then we have one that has the 13 and the 16 in it all together. This one has 13 and 61 in it together. That's so funny. One of them has a modifier, one of them does not. What is our 53 modifier? What is 53? 53 is a discontinued procedure. Ooh. If we see at the end that they discontinued something and had to emergency stop or something, then we'll know right away our answer is A. I love it when they throw one wild modifier in there. It's kind of cool. Let's see. She is severely dehydrated. Scheduled the physician decides to schedule for another day and orders are only having hydration today instead of chemo. But did they start it ahead of time? Like, do you bill for chemo when, I guess, when they were scheduled to come in and they had to discontinue the services? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't think that qualifies because, you know, if you didn't do the service, you didn't even start the service. She came in, right, and she was supposed to get her chemo, but they didn't even start it. So I wouldn't call that a discontinue. That just, I don't think that would happen. I have that right? 53 is discontinue. Yep, discontinue procedure. So yeah, I wouldn't pick that one. Okay. Well, I will definitely get rid of that one because that makes no sense to me. So we're going to keep, it's probably going to be our 60 then. If we get rid of that one based off the modifier, it's probably going to be the 60. So 963, where are we at? 963. 963. Ooh, gonna be out of sequence. You had to look it up. Well, hopefully you looked it up in your CPT book. Do not be Googling the answers because that ain't going to help you during the CPC exam. Let's see, where is our 963? We got a bunch of out of sequences all up in our way. 963. 60 is right up in here. These are pretty cool. They got a lot of do nots that you can't do, and you can't code your add-on code for an additional hour until that additional hour has already happened. So you got to be very careful about this one. Just because they did an hour and 15 minutes doesn't mean you code this one also. So they got to get that whole hour in there before you can code for it. But this is just infusion hydration. How long did she go? She did 1 hour and 10 minutes. So it would definitely just be that one code, which is going to be B. For sure. She's not going to get the 61 for the additional minutes. And it would really need to be quite a bit more time to go along with that. I have an example here where they did 1 hour and 30 minutes of chemo infusion, and they added both numbers here. But it can't be that 10 minutes. That's not going to qualify you for being able to add another additional hour at all. Thank you, Wit, for the follow. I hope I can help you in your medical coding. Yeah, no Google. Well, that was luck for me. It was very good luck. I hope that luck holds for the exam whenever you decide to take it. I know we've got quite a few coming up. Going to be taking it. Let's do another medicine one. This is a crazy section. There's all kinds of stuff in it. So I like the 58, 59, and 60. They're all super close together. Unless the 52 is right next to the 58, I'd probably at least get rid of that one. So let's go look up 93458. 93458. Not sure if you have time with the kids. It can be challenging. You can do it without a course, for sure. That will save you some time with the kids. The main thing is prepping your book. Put all your answers in your CPT book so that you have a way of referencing the correct answer. Practice exam questions like what we're doing so you know what to look for. Like in that question, I wouldn't discontinue chemo when we didn't even do it that day. We just decided not to do it that day. So we wouldn't add that modifier. Knowing certain things like that will definitely help. Joining a study group is super helpful too. I have a free study group on Messenger that can be super helpful. We chat in there all day long, every day, in Messenger, and practice questions. I show off pages of my books, the way I've prepped them there too. 3, 4, 5, 8. Because your medical coding exam certification is an open book exam. You get to take your books with you, and you get to use them. So use them to your full advantage. Make them rainbows. 93458 is right here. 59 is right here. One of them is just arteries. One of them is a bypass graft and arteries. And 60 is a combo, right and left. I bet it's going to be a difference between these two. They like to pick the ones that are super close together. So if we're just doing arteries or if we're doing any bypass grafts will be our deciding factor. Prepping these codes right before you do the exam so that you know what they are here without having to read the words or the parenthetical notes after them. That saves you a lot of time because I already knew this is just arteries and this is arteries with bypass. So that saves me a bunch of time. So then I just look at my question. And we are doing just left, it looks like. Do we see anything about graphs? We're doing angio, including supervision, interpretations, cardiology services. That's it. A retrograde left cath is all I see. All I see is a cath. So I know that 58 is going to be our only one. We're just doing a left heart cath. That's it. Just the injection. We're not doing anything else. That's a super small thing. They're not doing any bypass. They're not doing any heart-lung machines. You don't see anything like that. So you know that 58 is your only answer. And they've only mentioned left. So you know we're not doing right and left, which would be that 60. So you can eliminate that one. And since there's no graphs, you eliminate the 59. 58 is your only answer. Love it, all day long. Hey, Cap. Yes, you can take your medical coding certification done online. I work remotely. I have for the last 8 years anyway, but you can do remote jobs, of course. And I'm not a coder. I'm a medical auditor, but I saw so many people suffering on the AAPC website to pass this exam, and I felt the exam was very unfair. The way they test for the certification was quite unfair, so I started making TikToks fussing about it and ended up getting people to ask me for more help, and it kind of snowballed into this 2 hours, 3 days a week tutoring session that I do with people. But I've been in the medical field since the 1990s, and I've done everything from running my own clinics to training physicians to shooting x-rays, drawing blood, coding, and billing has just been nothing that I've ever wanted to do in my entire life ever. But I love auditing, and I do HEDIS measure audits now for the last 8 years, 10 years, or more. No, it's been more, 12 years. 12 years I've been doing HEDIS auditing, and we use these CPT codes to audit physicians. So especially in the radiology section, if they are utilizing lumbar sacral x-rays with a diagnosis of back pain, just regular back pain, some of that stuff can be counted against the physician as far as overutilization of resources. Everybody that has back pain does not need an x-ray for this. They need to have had some traumatic injury. Most back pains will resolve on their own, and the medical community has put forth guidelines to say that overutilization of certain things will not only harm your patient, but they bog down your medical system with useless stuff. So one of the measures is this. I like the measures where patients over 50 need to have a mammogram. All your females. Anybody with a uterus or born with one needs to have a mammogram, at the age of 50 and older. And making sure that patients get their services. Everybody needs colonoscopy at a certain age. Those kind of things I love to audit. Not so much about the overutilization, but I can see where if they've already had a hysterectomy, they have no ovaries, no cervix, but they're still coming in and get pap smears. Why are you doing that when they don't have a cervix? I don't understand. So some things I could see where overutilization is rough, but and doctors don't realize, and patients come in and ask for it every year because they're used to getting it every year, and they like getting it done every year no matter what, and that should be really between the physician and the patient, but I know we got to put a stop to some things, I guess, from here to there, but all this comes from Canada. They do everything first. They do all of they're even in ICD10 11 right now. They're in ICD-11. They sort of end up just doing all these measures and finding out a better way to take care of their population, and then we adopt every one of their guidelines, every one of their methods of collecting the billing, every one of their methods of collecting any kind of guideline. It all ends up being captured from the World Health Organization. And other countries have been doing these measures decades before we start doing them. So we're always the last ones to do anything here in the United States. So they've been doing it for decades, and it seems to help their systems. Then great. I like medical auditing. I do not like medical coding. Coding is not black and white as it should be. And what you see in a patient's chart could be something different than what I see in the chart, and you are given that leeway in coding, which is great. Your group, wherever you get a job at for coding, they will tell you how to code, when to code, and it will all be different based off which health plans they have and what policies and procedures that group puts into place. And it will be different if you get a job somewhere else. That's the great part of the United States. Our healthcare is not universal, and we can bill however we please. And you will learn on the job. Well, the exam doesn't really take that into consideration, and it was way overwhelming with 6-hour-long exam with no breaks, lunch, or anything going on in between. That was way too tedious. So I'm excited about the new changes where it's just going to be a 4-hour-long exam. And I'm still hopeful that my tricks for getting through the questions without reading them will work 100% the same way they do now. Definitely don't want to go back to having to read these questions because they are full of propaganda that you don't need to read. I like doing the exam questions without having to read any of the questions at all. That's super helpful. I love it when that works out really well. I haven't been doing that because I like showing y'all a little bit why the answer is that way too, but there's a lot of times here I could just look at the codes and tell you which one's the answer without batting an eye. We've got some 20s and we've got some 40s, but they're all bang close, like the 25 and the 27 are 2 away, the 40 and the 42 are 2 away, so you can't really tell. So this one I would just pick the 25 and the 40 to go see what the two differences are on these codes. That would let me eliminate 2 of the answers and get it down to a 50-50. So 98925 is what I would do. 98. This medicine section has so much stuff in it. It ends up even being physical therapy, ophthalmology is back here and everything. 98925. We're close. 98925. We're over here, right? 989. Yep, 25. So we're over here in where like a chiropractor might manipulate your back or something like that. So the 25 is there, and then the 40s are over here. So what's our differences between a chiropractor might manipulate your back or something like that? So the 25 is there, and then the 40s are over here. So what's our differences between these two? We've got an OMT and a CMT. We got the country music station, or we have the old-timey patients station, right? So we're going to go look and see we're doing the old-timers. So that's the only difference I needed to find out. We can get rid of the 40s, most definitely. So that gives us just a 50-50 shot. Oof, sorry about it does not like to look from the books to the screen. There we go. Now we can go see what the differences are. The 25 and the 27 is 3 to 4 body regions or 1 to 2 body regions. So all we got to do is figure out how many body regions he did, cervical regions, and 3 root lesions in the thoracic. So we've got cervical, thoracic. Did he do sacral? Cervical and 3. So we did 2 regions, right? Thoracic and cervical would be just 2 regions, 2 body regions. So we definitely do that 25. If it had said, lumbar and sacral or any other additional region, we could do the 26 or the 27, whichever one. But I only see 2 here. Oh, sorry. So I'm going with, what answer is that? C. Yep, C's the answer. That one right there. Yay. Checking out chat. Let's see. Have I published the AKA list yet? No. No. I'm so bad. I gotta finish my, where are you going to put the codes for 2022 into your 2021 books tonight and get that published. The AKAs. The thing about this book is it tells you a lot of your AKAs. Man. And my AKA list is probably going to end up having to be section by section, which is going to be, you know, just the ones for anesthesia, just the ones for musculoskeletal, those kind of things. But your AKAs, they try to put them in on a lot of the codes, and I'm probably not going to be able to find one right there. Oh, no. Your AKAs are in the parentheses, wherever, and of course, right, this dilation right here, the esophagus, if they have to dilate 30 mm or larger, that's your AKA to tell you what that means, because they're doing a dilation of an esophagus here. They're doing one here too. But what's the difference? This one's going to be a bigger dilator than the other one. See how this one's less than 30 mm? That's a smaller one. This one's going to be your upper one. You can't see, I got the 2. One's down, one's up, so that you know that the difference is in the sizes. But yeah, AKA list is coming. I'm just trying to get done with the 2022 book sections too. Trying to get those updated in this new book and posted along with it. And the AKAs for this section are crazy insane, especially in integumentary. I did a lot of those here. I mean, there are AKAs for all kinds of stuff. Just knowing that a BULLA means a blister. So, but the only section that would really work in is really the integumentary system. So having the AKAs for that is definitely going to help. But I do have room. We have our prefixes and suffixes for the integumentary system before the system. But then we could make an AKA list for it too. But it's really better to have it with the code, because if you don't have it here, how are you going to know that this is a blister for that CPT code if your code difference is from here to here? And the only difference is the same CPT code, same body part, and stuff like that, but this one's draining fluid from a blister, and this one's draining fluid from a cyst or a sub-Q area. How would you know the difference if I don't put my AKA here? So I just want to make sure that y'all have access to them and that they're where it'll be the most benefit for you too during the exam. But yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Got another medicine one. So we've got the 957s. I like the 17 and the 18 because they're super close together, right? This 12 and 5, especially mostly the 5, we can definitely get rid of. Let's go see where the 17 is at. 9, 5, 717. Look at all those out of sequences. Fix your out of sequences. Oh, 5, 7. Okay, 5, 7. 5, 7. It's going to be these, of course. 5, 7, 1, 7 is on page 779. They're way out of whack. And we're looking at 17 and 18. So our two differences are right here. They're both EEGs. They're both continuous. They're both recording physicians. This one is 2 to 12 hours. This one's greater than 12 hours. So all we need is a time on this one. So let's see how long we did. The recording was for 12 hours. And that's it. And no video. Greater than 12, so we know it's going to be this one with no video. 17. Definitely going to be that. D's your answer. You're welcome. Happy to teach. Happy to help. So if I can help better your life, you'll better your community's life, which will better everybody's life around, you know. That's my thinking, and I just hate people suffering. When do you use the right and left modifier? When you have a CPT code for a singular item that has two sides. Very basic answer, but it's most definitely it. You got to know your anatomy a little bit to know whether you have two of them, a right and a left. So that's it. What do you recommend doing with the medical terminology section? I had a term on my last exam. I take my med terms for each section and add them to my book before each section and add them in on the pages that are before each section. I do that with my prefixes, my suffixes, all that kind of stuff, and then I put my common vocabulary terms down here too. Just write in as many as you can for each section. Having your prefixes, suffixes, and all that stuff, just super helpful. All your digestive, common terms, just write them at the beginning of in your CPT book, because most of your exam is in the CPT book. But your common terms here, most definitely. And anytime they draw a body part, be sure and list their body part and the function. So this year, instead of just listing out the body part, I'm fixing to show you. I just put down the camera for just a second. Let me go into my male genitalia I just did. So last year we labeled all the parts. Yeah. But this year I'm doing label and function. So what does this thing do? We know what it is and where it's at, but it's an accessory gland. But it also is the duct that actually nourishes. It produces a lubricant, and that lubricant nourishes the sperm. So putting down a on any of their body parts that they have listed, what does that body part actually do? What is its function? That is super helpful. That'll help you during your exam too. And I like to do reverse Google searches. I just take a picture and have Google search for these because people have a lot better pictures of these. The esophagus, how long it is. I have another one that's 5 inches long. Some of them, just doing that kind of information for common terms is super helpful. And then adding to this common terms that go along with this section, super helpful. Let me go through this thing real quick. We've got our study group. If you ever wanted to join me and join our little group, we work in it every day. You just need to come find me on Messenger. And this is our little chat group right here. We talk about all kinds of things. We query about things that people have questions on if they're in a course. We got some files that I share all the time. We're talking about the snow. But we've actually got lots of things in here that will definitely help you for your CPC exam. Anatomy to add into your CPT book. Things that'll help you for the guidelines. I have these one-sheeters that'll show you all the ways you can code a certain situation and where to put it in your book so that you can find it during your exam. Ideas on where to put things in your books and how to highlight them. But mostly having the body part listed with its function is super helpful, listed in your book. But we share in this study group all day, every day. I even do these questions like this in there too. So if you wanted to join, you just need to come find me in my chat group. Just find me at Jen Brewer on Messenger and ask to join. Don't find me on any other Messenger application, because I have several accounts. Even my cat has an account over here. So don't find me on those because I can't add you to my group for that. This is all free though. We do tutoring in that every day. The other things that I have is all these lives that I did on TikTok go on YouTube, and that is Coding by Jen. And you can find all my repeat lives there if TikTok recorded them. Sometimes they don't. You know where TikTok is. Medical Coding by Jen houses a place where you can schedule one-on-one tutoring with me if you are ready to take your CPC exam and you want to go over practice questions from AAPC with me and watch you take the test and tell you how you could speed up your process during your exam taking practice test with me. I show you where to find the answers faster and of course congratulate you when you did the process right. Let you know where we need to work on, what sections you might need to work on. If you want copies of all my notes from every page of the CPT book, they're listed there on Etsy. What we also have is one document that we've created together that shows everybody what has been on the exam in the last 30 days. Do I even have that one up? I do. I put one more thing on it today. Iron deficiency. Somebody asked about a question they had that listed out several types of anemia. Which one was anemia or which one wasn't anemia was one of the questions. So I listed out all 7 types of the anemia. I added that one on there today. But this is 29 pages of every vocabulary term, some diagnosis codes, things that were on their exams in the last 60 days. This is super helpful little document. And it also has the top 10 ICD10 guidelines to know for your exam so that you can study the ones that we know that are going to be on the exam instead of every single medical guideline. But vocabulary terms like the sesamoid bone, one of our more recent ones was that nerve that goes from the groin to the pelvic bone area, or to the external genitalia. That one, yeah, that was a cool word. It starts with a P, though. Right here, this prudential nerve. It starts in our pelvic floor region and goes to our external genitalia. It was on one of our most recent, like the 29th CPC exams. So that kind of stuff is super helpful to have. If you knew what vocabulary word was going to be on your exam before you took it, then that could help you out a whole bunch. What HIPICS codes were on there, what kind of questions they might have asked about OB or quads, twins, just that kind of information is super helpful. There's those modifiers for anesthesia we were talking about earlier today, for sure. We had a circumcision of a 25-year-old. Which code would you use? Super helpful to know right before your exam. But I did add that one thing, the anemia, today. And if you do buy this document, every time I update it with more information that somebody shared with me, then you get a new email with a new document listed with everything on it, including the new information. So I email those out weekly. I just did it yesterday. So that's all on Etsy. And then on my website too, you have a section there that will show you how to prep your book to get it ready for the exam. I got screenshots of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what will help you, like those fixing the out of sequence exam CPT codes. This book is supposed to be in numerical order, and then it's out of sequence. A lot of the codes end up just out of sequence for one reason or another. And when you do run into those, they give you a range of where to look for your code. They don't tell you what page number it's on, so then you've got to go look through some range that they give you, or they tell you a chart number where it's at, and then you got to go find that chart because they don't even tell you what page number that's on. But just going through the book, the entire book, and fixing those out of sequences and putting the page number down is super helpful. I do have a sheet on Etsy too that's got a list of all those codes and where they're at, and the page numbers listed for the 2021 book completed too, if you need it. But I will be back in chat again. Today was Monday, so I will be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow I have tutoring with a couple of people. I got to go prep for that and make sure I have them good training material for their one-on-one sessions with me. And then Wednesday I will be back on TikTok for a 2-hour, and we will do some anatomy then, because look at these next questions that I have coming up. We have, I can tell that's going to be, anatomy. We will work through questions 37 through 50 on this practice exam question, and it looks like we're going to end up doing anatomy, and ICD10 will be next, I'm sure, because we haven't done any ICD10 today. Yep. We'll do some ICD10 and some HIPICS too on Wednesday. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. Let me check my messages. I got 21. Oh, Lord. What did I miss? I am almost finished, Gladdy. I am in the middle of making that document, and I will get it finished tonight and post it on Etsy. She's asking about the document that will take your 2021 book and turn it into a 2022 book. I have to go through and tell you what page number you need to write the new codes on in your 2021 book. I don't want to just tell you what the new codes are and then you figure out where to put them, because some of them need to be in a specific area before you get to another section. So that's what's taken me the longest, but I am almost done, and I'll have it posted way late tonight, but I'll have it posted tonight. And that will be ready. So it's going to tell you what to delete and what to add to your book to turn this 21 book into your 2022 book. Most definitely. It will be posted soon. Yeah, timing is everything. Just going through this and doing the process of elimination is super helpful. I did 18 or so questions tonight. So hopefully this live will record on TikTok, and then I can post it on my YouTube. My old ones are obviously there on YouTube. It's Coding by Jen. I don't know why it does that, but it just does not like to focus on computer screens. It loves to focus on the computer, on the pages, but it does not like to focus on the computer screens. Thank you for all the roses, Shell. Bells, you're going to schedule soon. Great. Perfect. It's so much fun. The one-on-one tutoring really, I just give you the questions, let you try to answer them, and then I show you exactly how I would attack that question. If you attack it in a different manner than I would have, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just trying to show you some tips and tricks to get it done faster, for sure. My notes are there on Etsy. Medical Coding by Jen. They're all there if you want page by page of everything I've got. I had typed out the ICD10 guidelines for 2022. I typed the 2022 E&M section. The rest are going to be page by page copies. They're super helpful. Oh my gosh, the typed out versions have screenshots of where to look and what it looks like in the book. And then you got way more examples on the typed out one because I can put more on there than I can fill in these CPT book pages. Thanks for answering, guys. Ooh, I got an ice cream cone. That is so cool. It'll be 6:30 Arizona time zone. We don't fall back. We don't go forward. We just stay the same. Right now, I have 8:35 p.m. in Arizona time zone. I've been on for a little over 2 hours, so I start at 6:30. As soon as I feed the kids dinner, then I come in here and start chatting away. Usually they're interrupting a whole bunch, but school started back today. Oh, a mini speaker. That is so cute. You're so kind. One of them's usually interrupting me, but one of them went to sleep. School started today and back for the Christmas break, and I guess he got all tuckered out. He was in bed by 7 p.m., ate dinner, and went to bed. Will you be going over scenarios? Hey, Irene. We just did 18 scenarios of practice exam questions. I have these exam questions that I always start out doing the answer first is what I like to look at. I do the process of elimination, and then I get it down to usually just 2 answers, and then we go look up the CPT code to see what the difference is or the modifier difference is before we look at our question, and then we do not read the question. When we eventually ever maybe have to look at the question, we only look for key terms. We do not read it from the beginning to the end. We just do a word search, and then we pick our answer that way because these questions are full of propaganda. If you missed all of that I did today, hopefully this recording will record and I will post it on my YouTube. But my YouTube does have a ton of other sessions on there too. It's Coding by Jen, and you can play it in your car on the way to work or when you're cleaning house. Unfortunately, it's my voice for 3 hours sometimes every night, but I do these Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And some are prepped before work tomorrow and everything else that's going on. So our Messenger chat group is super helpful too. If you come find me on Messenger at Jen Brewer 2, right there. It's just Jen Brewer with the same profile pic as here on TikTok. I can add you to our chat group, which is right here, and we share a ton of information. We do practice questions in here too, every day. Everybody's always helping out and doing all kinds of stuff in here, and sharing about the weather too, but still, we share a lot of information in here that will help you pass your exam too. All right, guys. Well, I am going to get off of here. Thank y'all so much for all the gifts and the shares, and I will see you guys in our chat room, because I know many of y'all are already in there, and then I will see everybody for tutoring tomorrow too, who has booked some tutoring, and I will be back here on Wednesday, 6:30 Arizona time zone. It is 8:39 here my time zone right now, to give you an idea of what time it will be for you on Wednesday. I'll see y'all then. Good night.